Everyone loves a good breakout chart, right? So today I thought I would just take a couple minutes to show you guys three charts that are breaking out in their own right and explain to you why that is and how that works in different time frames. Now, I will tell you that I am a big believer of giving people perspective when it comes to chart breakouts and analysis more general when it comes to the markets. I don't think over time you can make money just looking at a simple chart and calling it a breakout. So there's other work that's been done to show you these chart breakouts that qualify them as trades that could continue to go higher on the breakout level. The first one here is a company called Roku. And I'm going to first give you guys quickly the weekly chart. So now we're going to make each one of these bars 1 week, and we can draw some very simple lines, which is what breakouts are all about. That's why people tend to love them so much, because it does overly simplify things a little bit. But this here is a long-term weekly chart, and again you can see the breakout here happening on a weekly basis so far. If you zoom back into the daily chart, you can see the same phenomena, just a little bit more concisely or precisely, I guess, on the short-term chart. Basically what you see is also an inverse head and shoulders pattern. The way you draw these is you look for these shoulders which are above the head being down here, and again this is an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So it's kind of like if you were to do a headstand. Imagine doing a headstand. This is kind of what it would look like. Your head would be down here and then your shoulders here, and this it really is quite compelling to and potentially conducive to higher prices on Roku over the course of let's call it probably a few months or so. The next one here is a bit more near term, and it's on a ticker symbol called Lennar. Again, like I said, on all these charts, we've done other work on it to qualify these, and it's not just based on technicals, but the chart breakout pattern is there. Lennar is part of the home builder group. Home builders have acted very well so far in 2020 on a relative basis and on an absolute basis, and I do think there is potential for this to continue. This one is maybe a bit more of a nearer term one, but you can see it's coiling. It's arguably broken out, but it's kind of on the cusp. You can kind of make the case that it has yet to break out more meaningfully. Well, I think that kind of is the case. There could be more meaningful move, but you can see that we're basically been basing above what used to be support now for the past month or so, and the breakout here, if it continues, would be towards $85 or so, potentially much higher, but that's sort of our first targets right here. That's number two, and a third one for good measure, and this one is a bit of a different type of breakout pattern, but it comes in the chart of Walmart. And I think it's always important to understand that people like to overly simplify things, and when it comes to anything in terms of life and analysis, but particularly when it comes to these charts, which is what this video is about, they try to label everything the same thing. Now I'll tell you again, charts and breakouts and patterns and all these things, they come in different shapes and forms. And so this is a breakout in its own right, and I'll show you this in a minute, but just to give you some perspective, you can see Walmart, nice basing pattern in a higher base, another higher base, then we broke higher, blow off top for in the near term, and now we're pulling back to what used to be support. So the way we look at this right now is we are seeing a breakout taking place more on a nearer term basis that could ultimately be the initial sign that we see a continuation move higher. So this is not a lateral breakout, but more kind of like a downside wedgie kind of breakout. And you can call this whatever you want to call the pattern, doesn't really matter. The point is we're seeing a breakout attempt, at least so far, out of this, and that would be all being equal conducive to Walmart moving higher. Again, this is not a trade for this second right now that has to be profitable, but through the lens of at least a few weeks or so will be our time frame. So that's really what I had to cover, folks. I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, spread the word. I'll see you soon.